Okay, hi guys. I'm super excited today to have in the studio with me Ife Okoye. She's a minister of the gospel, she's a seasoned entrepreneur, a mom of four, and she calls herself the mompreneur. I'm super excited because today she's going to be telling us how she's been able to build her brand, her success story so far, and what she intends to do the next phase of her business. Like I promised, we're going to be bringing you different people or different audience that have done things regarding their sales strategy, their brand building, their businesses, their services, their work life. People that have done excellently well in every aspect of life. Today, our guest is seated, and let's just ask her some good questions. Thank you so much for coming. I'm honored to have you. I'm honored to have you in the studio. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So basically, I want you to tell our audience a little about you. Who is Ife Okoye? Just a little brief.
Okay. Where do I start? Because I will start by saying I'm a mom of four. I'm a wife. I'm a minister, and I'm Ife Oko. I am a Nigerian who was born in the U.S., and I have a whole story of how I got back to
We're
the
gonna
U.S.
get there.
So,
We'll get there.
so thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. Thank you for coming. So I've seen you. I listened to one of your interviews, so that kind of got me, and I said, "Wow, why not bring her to this platform so that she can talk to my audience on how she's doing it?" I know you have a brand, your own brand that you took time to build, something born out of love and passion. We're going to get there, but just to let's have this basic understanding on where we're going. You mentioned you're from Nigeria and you're born in the US, and now you're an entrepreneur. So how has the journey been? Can you just give us a little bit history of the Nigeria born American entrepreneur, an African American. No, let's African. When you say African American, like, okay, Nigeria born,
Yes.
whatever. So give us a little brief history of how the little things you've done, maybe in a very short 5-10 minutes, fine.
Okay. You want the story of how I
A little
came
story,
to-
yes.
Okay.
I know you were born in California. I
Yes.
had that, and I know you are the CEO of this wonderful brand, the Grownish. So we're coming to this.
Yes.
We're going to talk about what brought about Grownish and what we're doing. We want to know the numbers. But right now, Pastor, I'm going to call you Pastor. Yes, sorry. Ife Okoye
Yes.
is a minister of the gospel. She's an entrepreneur. How do you manage these two together? So, just tell us.
Ooh, let's see. I with entrepreneurship and being a minister, I think being an entrepreneur just simply means that you are the creator. You're the one who, you're self managed, and so it gives me that time to be able to self develop, spiritually develop, and then, I believe that spiritual development and personal development leads to really business development.
Awesome.
Because you can't be transformed from within and not become more like your creator. So I guess that's how I merge both.
Awesome. That's good to know. I just learned that now. Okay. I remember one of your interview with the Fox 5, right? Yes, I was lying. I was watching you. I tried to tell them you went back to Nigeria to do your basic education.
Yes.
Like your middle we'll call it middle school year or high school year.
Yes. Actually, elementary.
Elementary.
Yes.
Okay, you went back and you came back to the US.
Yes.
How long did you spend in Nigeria?
For university. So the story is my parents, I was born here. My parents were first generation who came to the US to go to school. And my dad wanted to go back to Nigeria. Of course, I was a kid. I had no choice. So we all just went back home. And I did my schooling, secondary school, primary school, secondary school.
That's what we call it.
Yes, and even 1 year, less than 1 year of university in Nigeria, and I was ready to jackpot.
I like that. Jackpot, the jackpot thing.
I joined them way, 1998, I think.
You jackpot back to
America,
back to American country. Yes. Oh, awesome. Yes. That's good.
So my brand was born out of a personal need.
Okay.
My daughter, who was I think 8 at the time, started to have body odor. And I didn't know, because she was my first child, I didn't really know that it started that early.
Uh-uh.
But for some reason, I was more conscious of what I put on her body, and I didn't think that it was necessary to use what I use on her. And so when she started having that issue, I went to the stores and I'm like, I'm looking for something for, kids, and I could not find anything. Not to mention nothing that was like
Wow.
clean or natural. And you know, uh, days would go by. I would put like some powder, the
Wow, I
Nigerian,
know we just do
just a mom,
self
the African
medication.
mom. Yes, I put some powder. That didn't work. One day, we were driving, and that's why sometimes I think that we should all have a listening ear.
And pay attention.
Yes, to pay attention. Many times our kids will say something, and if you're not really paying attention, you think they're just being kids. And so she said, well, Mom, why don't we make one?
Wow.
Yes. Why don't you make one? At first, I didn't pay any attention to her.
Wow.
So that's why I can give you that advice. And I didn't pay any attention to her, to what she said, because, who was I? I've never done that before. I don't even know how, where do you start from? So I didn't pay any attention to that. But she would come home, I'd pick her up from, I think it was volleyball that she was doing, and I'd pick her up, and, just the car would just be like, whew,
Wow.
really, really smelly. And I was like, we need to do something about this.
Before
And,
she grows out of age.
Yes. And I decided that, I think there was a day I was driving, and it was like a light bulb moment.
Wow.
That's just like, you should do this. It really just came like, I should do this. She had sowed that seed in my heart, even though I wasn't thinking about it. And funny enough, look at this. At the time, I was actually looking for a job.
Wow. So somebody
Yes.
needed to tell you something.
Yes.
And it had to come through her.
Yes.
So that's basically takes us to the fact of paying attention.
Yes.
Little
Yes.
details.
Yes.
That thing you feel like, a lot of us, there's some things we just have around us.
Yes.
We have everything to make it work, but
Yes.
we overlook it.
That's right.
Yeah, I get that. Okay.
Right. Everything, that you are the solution to the problems around you.
That's it.
Like there are problems. We live in a universe that's filled with problems.
Okay.
And this is where my ministry thing will come in really quickly.
You want to give us a word?
Yes. Because it's who I am.
That's it.
When I think of Genesis 1:1, and when God was giving a command to Adam, and he says, replenish.
Yes.
Right? Be fruitful, multiply.
Yeah.
He also said subdue.
Yeah.
Another translation says tame. Tame means like you have to replenish. To read, the word read is to do over.
That's it.
And so we live in a universe that has problems. So if we're sitting back and waiting for everything to be good,
you're not going to get
You're
there.
going to miss it.
So that was a question I asked someone. I asked somebody, what are you creating? What brand are you creating? A need or a want?
That's right.
So there is a problem. Whatever you're doing is a service. Even at your job, you should be solving problem.
Right.
If you're solving problem, your employers will keep you.
That's right.
So if your product is solving problem, you are in business.
That's right.
That's why you don't do random things.
Right.
And being in Nigeria and Africa, where we come from, because that's my heritage. I'm a full-blown African. Don't bother about me. Don't even bother about my accent. I'm very, very original. So now, some people just tend to do what everybody do. You don't have a selling edge. You don't have a niche. You're not unique. You're not adding value. You're not creative. So for me, this is so beautiful.
Yes.
So, and that's how you started a brand?
Right. Even before, even while I was starting, some of the people closest to you, when I told them the idea that, hey, this is what I want to do, because they couldn't understand.
Don't worry. They love us. They love us, but
absolutely.
They're afraid for you.
Yes. I've grown to the part where I understand, human nature. That they love you, and is to protect you.
Yeah.
They want to protect you.
They don't want you to take a risk.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's their love that makes them to say, you should try something else. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?
And you're looking for a job.
Yes.
And you're in America.
That's right.
Where you got to pay your bills.
That's right.
Your bills must come. Oh,
yes.
I can imagine.
And that is why personal development is very important. The paying attention to yourself. You need to know yourself.
Yes.
If you don't know yourself, how do you know who you're supposed to be?
That's it.
You know, so.
So that's what about. So I remember you also told. I'm just taking your story because I had to read your story, and for a while you've been my friend. I needed to know some few things. Now, I remember you said you started this brand from your kitchen table.
That's right. Yes.
So meaning some people, because some people tell you, I don't have money to start, I don't have capital, yes. What if,
yes.
would if, should if, all the excuses. They go ahead of, they see the end from the beginning.
That's right.
When you've not even started now.
That's right.
So can you tell us how you started? You were looking for a job.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
Now you're building a brand.
Yes.
So where did you get money from? Which capital did you use? How did you start? From your table. You didn't need to own a factory. So you started from somewhere. So tell us how you started.
Yes. And so, my kitchen, I whip up some things, experimenting, going online, Googling stuff. Google was my researcher.
Wow. And Google is good.
So, and so just doing it myself. And then we were just, actually mine started out as a paste, just like putting it on her. But I really wanted it to be, eventually I wanted it to be, so she can have something that she could hold for herself. Prior to that, I had met a couple of people who had given me a sample of their product. This is how I left my kitchen.
Okay. So
yes, I left my kitchen when I met somebody who gave me a product and said it was like a hair product.
Okay.
It was a sample, and I hope they're not listening to me, but if they're listening,
it's okay. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. You know yourself. I've been. But I threw the package into a cabinet.
Oh my God.
I was like, it was a hair relaxer, and I was trying to go natural, at that time with my hair. And so I threw the relaxer into the packaging into my closet. I didn't think in my cabinet, and I didn't think anything of it. And so when I started after I was making it for her, and that I had that light bulb moment to hey, do this.
So you went back to the one you trashed?
Yes.
And copied exactly what they gave you?
Yes.
Okay.
I remembered that somebody gave me a sample of their product, and I looked at the back and looked at the formula that I have. How do I turn it into a business? And
that's it. Yeah. Boom.
Yeah.
So that goes to the fact that your daughter was your specimen that you use to check out your product.
That's right.
So you didn't just go and do a random product without even having a full knowledge of it.
That's right.
So she used it.
Yes.
It was tested and proven.
Yes.
And that gave you the strength, the zeal to want to do more because it worked.
Yes.
So one of the problems I notice a lot of entrepreneurs have, they just do random things. They're sending things. Oh, somebody's sending something that came from China. You two sending something without necessarily trying it.
Right.
So when you try those things on yourself, because you must be the product of your product.
Yes.
You must trust your product enough to use it.
Yes.
You can't be selling what you don't know.
That's right.
That's where the passion we're talking about. Yes. So for me, your sales strategy here is that you were selling something you knew.
Yes.
You were the product of your product, and that is the passion.
And to this very day, it is tested on me and my kids every day.
Beautiful. And I hope you're leaving this one for me, because I want to start using this, because I'm super excited. Although it's Grownish, I'm an adult, I'll still use it.
Yes.
So thank you so much for coming. I'm so glad, and hope we're going to see you another time. Yeah. Absolutely.